Yeah, T. Higgins. T. Higgins versus Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. Stefon Diggs versus the Chargers seems like a get right game for Stefon Diggs. I opened up with Dave last time. Justin, I need to know who we starting in this just disaster of a matchup.
So this one's tough because if you look at the stuff, they look very, very similar. Um, Diggs has had a rough couple of weeks, minus the 1 week in Philly. He hasn't scored over 10 points since week 9, again, other than the week in Philly, like a month ago. Going up against the Chargers, who just fired their head coach. We all know what that means. It means they might actually play football now. They might be good. Who knows? T. Higgins is now wide receiver 1 for the next couple weeks.
On his team.
On his team.
Don't be
Sorry,
putting
on
out
his
there
team.
like you gotta clarify that, all right?
We're just clipping it right there. T. Higgins, wide receiver 1. He had 22 points against Minnesota. Now it's going up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is trash.
Yeah,
There's no way they're going to make the playoffs. All this long talk. You want to say Diggs, but I'm going to say Higgins. I want to say Diggs. I want Diggs to do well, but I'm going to say Higgins.
I should have went with the guy with the Diggs framed jersey in the background. Diggs is GOAT. Are you benching Diggs, Dave? For this guy? For the alpha?
Not for T. Higgins. I'm not. And listen, I watched the game last week. Higgins had 2 ridiculous catches. Both were touchdowns. He just outjumped. The Vikings DBs are just standing there looking like idiots, and he just mossed them twice and scored touchdowns. I think it was the third quarter, and he had no catches. And the fourth quarter, he just came alive. So good for him. Whatever. What's his face was smart throwing it up. I know there's going to be no chase, and I definitely see a path to like Higgins having a pretty decent to good game. That being said, I'm just not going to bench Diggs for Higgins. I don't trust Higgins. He hasn't done anything all year long. So he's been super inconsistent. I get, all of those things are happening. I'm still going to go with Diggs. Just, I don't know. Chargers aren't good. I think he's a better player. All of those things. Ooh. He's due for a big game. I just trust him more than Higgins, to be honest.
Tiebreaker.
Beta male Dave. I don't know what that means, Ronald. That's not very nice. For all you people that are viewing the show, I don't know what Ronald McDonald's going on. Are you calling Dave a beta?
I think that's what he's saying.
You know what they say? Haters gonna hate, like my girl Taylor.
They hate us because they ain't us. They peanut butter jelly. Anyway, we got T. Higgins over here, one of my loves, one of my most rostered dynasty player. Number 1. I roster him in more leagues than anyone else. And he's been driving me crazy all year. I'm so glad that he helped me win my consolation matchup last week. I know that joke's been said multiple times, but I'm really glad he decided to show up. Listen, the facts are, I do want to bring out the stat real quick, just because my love for Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is wide receiver 54 right now on the season. T. Higgins is wide receiver 53. T. Higgins has played 3 less games than Jerry Jeudy. And T. Higgins has a couple zeros in his roster. Dude, Jerry Jeudy's such a bum. I just wanted to say that. He can't even keep up with T. Higgins, an injured player. T. Higgins has had 8 or more targets in only 5 games this season, not counting week 1 where the big zero, where he started the season off freaking hot, 0. He averages 18.5, 2 points per game in those other 4 games where he averages 8 games a target. Other than that, he's been injured in and out of games, cracked ribs, bruised ribs, whatever you want to say. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. Let me repeat that. It's not his fault that he sucks this year. It's just he's hurt. And I don't like to take that and bake it into their fantasy value. When they're healthy, he's great. How many players can make that touchdown catch where he caught the ball and was aware enough to put the ball over the goal line and actually get it done? Not many players can do that. There's a handful of them in the NFL, and T. Higgins is definitely one of them. I do want to say they are playing Pittsburgh. They do give up a lot of yardage to some, they gave up 90 yards to Juju Smith-Schuster 2 weeks ago. Last week, they gave up 78 yards to Pittman before that illegal hit that took Pittman out of the game. Who knows what Pittman would have finished with? And when they played the Cardinals 3 weeks ago, they gave up a ton of yardage to Trey McBride, but nobody else, no receiver had more than 20 yards, which was pathetic. Pittsburgh could be had. I'm starting T. Higgins in this matchup. That was a long way for me to say I'm starting T. Higgins over Stefon Diggs, who, by the way, since week 10 is the wide receiver 48, averaging 9.5 points per game. since week 10. That's a very big sample size.
He's been not good.
Considering weeks 1 through 9, he was wide receiver 3. Something changed.
Crazy, man.
Something changed, and it's the offensive coordinator.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.